Well, hi guys, and welcome to the video. So the beer I'm brewing today is a high gravity Super Fast Imperial Stout with a batch size of 25 liters. Here I'm adding in the grains for a 90-minute mash. I'm using the micropipe, which allows me to put less kilos of grain into the mash basket. My strike water is 2 liters less than what the Grainfather gave me. More on this later. So the G70 heated up the strike water to 72 degrees. Well, after I added all the grain, it fell back down nicely to my 66 target for my first main step. I did see some variations of half a degrees here and there, which is perfectly fine for me. So as you can see here, you can't really see the water in the side glass, but this will change later on. Yeah, so the main concern with this unit is to have a proper 16 amp power supply. I just unplugged my dishwasher and I checked on the main switch that I do have a circuit breaker for 16 amps. So we've got a nice dark color towards the end of the mash. There's no overflowing, so I'm quite happy with that. The mash out temperature overshot by 2 degrees, but not a big concern, as all you have to do is stop the enzymes from chopping up that starch into sugars. So here I finished with the mash. I'm pulling out the mash basket. As you can see, it should be a two-person job, but as I only had about 7 kilos, I was able to lift it up. You can see a nice dark color. Sparging out now, nice 1 liter at a time. I just follow the instructions on the Grainfather. The machine assists you during the whole sparging process, so you just have to add 1 liter at a time. As you can see here, now I'm getting towards the end of the sparge, and so the water washes it well through. There's a little bit of grain residue on top, but that's perfectly normal. So here at the end, I just lift up the grain basket and poured it into a compact container. The basket is slightly bigger than the G30, so it made a little bit more mess, but nothing really that concerned me. As you can see here, it's a little bit messy, but no big deal. Got a nice vigorous boil here going on. So here I've got the mash pipe sitting on top of my sink. I'm just able to fit it under, and I can just rinse it out slowly. The 2 liters that I didn't put into the mash is what I used to actually melt down the candy sugar. Following the brew on the app will take you through the brewing process. Just follow the notifications. As you can see, through the sight glass you can actually see the beer, especially if it's a dark stout. Here I should have wear gloves because it was really hot. Don't do like me. So getting ready to sterilize the counterflow chiller. So boil finished. Add in my flame out hops, a small whirlpool. Here I'm preparing the counterflow chiller to be sterilized by recirculating some hot wort. So the hot water coming out of the counterflow chiller is kept aside to do some cleaning later on. It's all about saving the planet. Towards the end, the pump is sucking air through the hop cake. Some people remove the bottom plate, but I just fetched a little spatula I have hanging around the kitchen and scooped it up. As you can see, well, the bottom plate is nice and clean. You do have hop residue underneath, which are also scraped up, and it's all just a question of rinsing it down and pumping it out into the sink. I always flush the counterflow chiller with some cold water to get rid of all the wart, and then I just add in the hot water that I reserve later on and get my system ready for cleaning. I just give it a little scrub, and then I throw in the mash basket and scrub it too, and just spray some of the cleaning product all around the sides. At the end I just rinse with cold water the chiller. I rinse all the parts, but I keep them in the Grainfather and just take them out one by one. So with the hose I just kind of block the vortex that the pump creates, and this allows me to add more water at the same time. As you can see, I got the pump turned off here and water still drains out because you just have to keep the top valve open. So here's the Grainfather on wheels. I just put back everything together with the mash basket, the plates and everything, and just put it away for drying, and once it's all dry I just put the lid back on and put it away. So now all I have to do is just mop the floor, clean the kitchen, and we're done. So I've added my tilt into the fermenter with the yeast. As you can see, we've got a very high gravity on the left. That's the beer that I brewed today. The other one's from another brew last week, which is already ready. So yeah, I use a tilt connected to a Raspberry Pi. And as I inject my internet connection over the power of internet, I'm able to actually send to the cloud all the data so I can know when my beer is fermenting. So, brew day finished. So for those of you who are wondering, I should have used a blow-off hose, but as I was watching carefully, I was able to add some more star sand into the airlock, so no big deal. As you can see, we've fermented it down to 1.017, so it's going to be a very, very strong beer. So, my impressions after this first brew. Well, the system works quite well. I was really satisfied with the build quality, even though you can see some things here and there, but I mean nothing too spectacular. I must say that it is quite handy to be able to clean everything in place. I would suggest putting your Grainfather on some kind of carriage or something to move it around, or you have to be two people to carry it around. So you can set a delayed timer, you just have to hold the heat button for a couple of seconds. You can also use the app and set the time you want it to start, which is actually even handier. You got some options and network settings. As you can see, I was using the firmware 2.5. I still say that the algorithm needs some fine tuning because there's still a couple of things that they can improve. You can set your boil temperature. For me it's 98 because I live in quite a high altitude in Switzerland. Water does boil at 98. So I'd say the main thing is to be able to have access to a 16 amp plug. Here I actually had to hack out the original cable I received because it had a German connection, so I just chopped it off and fitted my own connection that I needed to plug into where I plug my dishwasher. I did buy a new cable and a really nice adapter that I can use when I go in the garage for brewing outside during the summer. Main thing is to check that the cables don't get too warm when you have a boil running. One thing I wasn't too happy about is this tap, which can wiggle a bit if you try and move it. There's a little bit of flex into the side of the boiler. So there you have it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It did take me some time to do, and also to write all these texts. Here's my original Grainfather, sort of stored away. I'll probably still keep on using it or just sell it, because now I'm quite happy with the one I have now. So next brew, I'll probably try and do a 50 litre batch and actually use the whole system for what it's been designed for.